up? A Cinema Shogun here, and it feels like almost every day that I'm sitting down in front of my camera, making these videos for you all, telling you all that the situation in East Palestine, Ohio is getting worse. And don't get me wrong, I wish I had some good news to report to you all, but I don't. So when I say the situation is getting worse, it's because the situation is getting worse. And what people need to understand is this. The longer this draws out, the worse it's going to get. The longer this goes on, the health effects are going to get increasingly worse. Of course, we've heard about the rashes, the shortness of breath. We even heard from one guy whose voice completely changed. He sounds like a cartoon character now. It's a really scary situation, but after talking about this and going over these details for over a month now, it almost has become normal. Like, yeah, people are having trouble breathing. They're having respiratory issues. But what needs to be understood is that these issues are going to get worse. The longer this goes on, the crazier the side effects are going to be. So yeah, at first maybe we hear about rashes and problems breathing, but as time goes on, those problems are going to evolve into other problems. And those problems are going to become worse problems. So like I've said, we've heard about some of the things that are happening to people out there, but now it's getting worse. Now people are starting to report things such as memory loss, which is weird and scary, but I kid you not. People in this area and around this area are now starting to come forward saying that they're having problems mentally from these chemicals, that they've all of a sudden developed these problems remembering and forming coherent thoughts. Their head is no longer clear like it used to be, and I get it. I understand that a lot of these people are going through immense amounts of stress, and stress really weighs on you. Stress can age you so quickly and cause so many health issues. It is insane when you really think about it. But I don't think this stuff is just coming from stress. I think it's coming from something else. But now that we've reached this point that people are reporting stuff like this, where do we go from here? I mean, the rashes were bad enough. The problems breathing, the watery eyes. That was bad enough. That was scary enough. And, the things that you could tell and detect on the outside, like, oh, I got a cough, or my eyes are red, or I got some inflammation. Imagine what's going on inside your body. Whatever is going on inside your body is worse than the things that you could detect and tell from the outside, if you will. But we are months out from this train derailment. The people in this town have been fed a bunch of bogus BS, and even people surrounding this town. It's not just the people of East Palestine, Ohio. People miles away are suffering from health issues because they did this burn that released all of these chemicals into the air that spread for miles and miles and miles. And once in the air, these chemicals are going to settle into the soil and into the water. People who live miles away from East Palestine, Ohio, are doing tests, and they're finding vinyl chloride in their urine. They say the water is safe, but people have vinyl chloride in their urine. People are freaking are so messed up from these chemicals that they're no longer able to think straight. It's having an effect on their brain, on their mind, which is really scary. Imagine waking up and having trouble remembering things, and you don't understand why. And for a lot of people, they may not even ever piece it together that maybe this is connected to all of the other things that are going on around this area because of this train derailment. But before I go any further, because best believe I have a lot to say about this, I want you all to watch this clip. Because what is happening here is the mainstream media, the big news outlets, they're not running a lot of these stories. But some of the smaller local media outlets are picking up on these stories. So let's go ahead and watch this clip, and then I'll be right back with my thoughts.
These Palestine families still dealing with the mess left behind from a derailment 2 months ago. Some of them have been reporting health concerns. In a story you'll see on Just One Station, Kelly Kennedy takes us inside some of the testing being done to figure out what could be causing people to feel sick.
The Murphy family has lived at this home in East Palestine for the past 22 years. They have a farm, their family's here. They didn't plan on moving, but now because of this toxic train derailment, they just might. Their family's been sick, even their horses have been sick. So they had some independent testing done to try to figure out what's really going on.
Norfolk Southern, your train may have crashed, but that derailed my life.
After 2 months of living in fear and uncertainty, the Murphys are desperate.
It's like prying teeth. We just can't get answers.
My vision is blurry. I have almost like cognitive issues where I can't remember stuff. I had a lot of shortness of breath, throat issues.
Linda Murphy needed answers, so she went to the doctor. That's when she learned she had vinyl chloride in her urine. According to the CDC, if you ingest vinyl chloride, it should be out of your system within 24 hours.
I'd like to know what it means to Norfolk. What does that mean to you, what you did to me?
Since Linda and Russell Murphy live more than 2 miles away from the derailment site, they didn't qualify for testing. But after 2 months of unexplained medical symptoms, they called in Scott Smith, Chief Sustainability Officer at Eco Integrated Technologies, to do some independent testing.
We have found the presence of a broad spectrum of dioxins and other benzene-related chemicals that are typical of oil spills.
I met Smith at an EPA resource fair last month. Since the derailment, he's done testing at least 20 homes. Smith has been in more than 60 disasters. He's working with the EPA and sharing his data.
The gutter is a great place to test.
The EPA has done some soil testing too. While they did report finding dioxins, they said the levels were low enough that there was no reason to restrict activities. But that's not what Smith's team tells him. Why do you think the EPA is saying, based off their testing, everything's safe, yet your testing is telling a completely different story?
My testing is about the presence of the dangerous chemicals. I have a great expert team around me of toxicologists, of OSHA experts, and they are coming back and saying these are the mere presence of these chemicals is a concern. You can't find what you don't look for, and you need to be thorough. And you need to be testing furnace filters too. A
month ago, CDC scientists studying the health impacts in East Palestine got sick, reporting symptoms consistent with what residents have been reporting.
7 out of the 15 got ill, and they go home, and they get better. We stay and get worse.
Smith says he should have the Murphys' test results back in the next 10 to 30 days, and he promised to share them exclusively with 19 News. We'll keep you updated as soon as we get them. Reporting in East Palestine, Kelly Kennedy, 19 News.
So what's next? Are people going to start growing extra arms and legs and giving birth to Siamese twins? Like, what effects are these chemicals going to have on these people? Now, obviously, I'm kind of joking there, only halfway, because I don't know anymore. But like I was stating at the beginning of this video, we're going to start seeing more and more things like this. You're not going to see in the weeks coming, oh, everyone's getting better. No, you're going to start seeing more side effects. Because these chemicals, they have an effect on you in the short term, and then they have an effect on you in the long term. And the long-term effects can be different than the short-term effects. So yeah, you maybe can be exposed to these chemicals for a few hours and you'll, get nauseous, have these rashes, what have you. But after being exposed to these chemicals for months on end, what happens then? I mean, we heard from this one lady who's literally having mental, like she's having trouble remembering things. Mental clarity. It's all foggy. And this is just 2 months after this derailment. If these people have to live and bake and stew in these chemicals, what's going to start happening? My prediction is, and I'm sorry to sound this way, but in 2 or 3 months from now, we're going to be hearing of even crazier health issues and side effects. That's my prediction. And I only predict that because I'm noticing the trend. And I'm also noticing that it doesn't look like things are getting any better. In fact, it looks like this story is losing attention. The mainstream media has moved on. And these people are going to be dumped and forgot about soon. And some could argue that they already have been. But the craziest part to me is that these government officials and these agencies are constantly telling these people everything's okay, everything is safe. Meanwhile, their own employees that they're sending to this town are getting sick. If that doesn't tell you, then I don't know what will. The same people that are going into East Palestine to lie to the people of East Palestine, to conduct these tests that they know are faulty and aren't testing for all of these chemicals, the same agencies that are going in here to lie to the people of East Palestine are now reporting that their own employees are getting sick from East Palestine. So what does that tell you? Common sense, put 2 and 2 together, it equals 4. If these people who are telling you it's safe are getting sick, then obviously it's not safe. I mean, it's literally that simple. But like I've said, and I go over this all the time in various stories that I cover, I guess our government just knows that a lot of us are freaking idiots. They know that a lot of people are just blatantly just stupid. I'm sorry. They know that people are freaking morons. So they know that they can go into town and be like, hey, everything's safe. Meanwhile, I'm sick from this stuff, but it's safe. And some people will just eat it up and go about their day. I feel like this is a direct insult. Like they are insulting the intelligence of all of us, and especially the people of East Palestine. You can't in one breath tell these people everything is safe, and then in the next breath report that your own employees are getting sick in this town. If it was safe, surely your employees would be healthy right now. But they're all coming down with the same symptoms as the people of this town are reporting. So that right there should wipe away all credibility that these people have. When they tell you it's safe, you should laugh in their faces. You should look them dead in the face and laugh hysterically. How and why do they feel comfortable blatantly lying knowing that the reports are out there? They will look you dead in your face and say, East Palestine is safe. The air is safe. The water is safe. And you could look to your left and see CDC agents getting sick. You could look to your right and throw a pebble into the river or into the creek and see freaking rainbow chemical sheens throughout the creek. It's all part of this, I don't know, like an alternate reality that the powers that be are trying to create for us. It's like they want us to ignore reality and conform to their reality. They want to tell you one thing when you could... It's so frustrating because They're telling the people of East Palestine the water is safe and they can walk in their backyards and mess around with the creek and see that it's not safe. But they're painting a totally different reality. And they know that some people are willing to live in this false reality so they can have a false sense of safety and secureness. It's so sad. It's so sickening to me. It's so frustrating to me. Every single day I get so frustrated by this story because we are getting blatantly lied to right in our faces, and they don't even care. They know we could prove it's a lie. I, from the comfortability of my freaking office, can prove that everything these government agencies have said about East Palestine is a complete lie, but who cares? It doesn't matter. Because they're going to paint their false reality regardless, and they know that some people are dumb enough to follow up with it. But let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.